Cora L. Bowers seems to think that it's okay to be evil to people, mean to people, cruel to people. A lot of people do. See, this didn't start over Natalie's death. This started over a year before Natalie's death because nobody cared. Nobody cared how I was abused. They just wanted me to pretend it wasn't happening. And if I pretend it's not happening, right, that'll fix everything, right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't fix the fact that people who claimed to be friends of mine told me to come see them, told me to come visit them. And then when I went to go see them and visit them, I had to deal with people like Cora Bowers. See, not in specific Cora Bowers because she's in Canada. No, I had to deal with people who had heard rumors and thought it was okay to be mean. Didn't bother to find out what was going on, just decided to be mean. But you pretend that because I'm a guy that people wouldn't do this or couldn't do this and that these things don't happen to white people, right? Or I deserve it because I chose homelessness, right? So literally you're just projecting all of your crap onto me as excuses. And then there's people like Cora Bowers who, well, she's such a bored and useless housewife, right? She's got so much free time on her hands that she can get involved in harassing disabled people in other countries. Because it's fun to destroy other people's lives, and this is what we have taught American women to be like. Now that I know that there's women like that in Canada, I don't want to go to Canada either. That's gross. Why would I want to be anywhere near somebody like Cora Bowers? Unfortunately, people like Cora Bowers are everywhere. You cannot escape the Karens of the world. The people who love to establish dominance and domineering. And what are the chances that her husband's a cuck? If you don't know what that is, look it up. No, I did not say Canuck. That's a different word. A lot of people, they feel very liberal about taking it out on disabled people. Now, if you've got somebody who's got a disability that's nearly always visible, if you've got Down syndrome, people can see you have Down syndrome. If you've got cerebral palsy, depending on how far along you are, people can see that you've got cerebral palsy. If you've got autism, either you are low-functioning autistic or you are very good at masking and you're able to hide it. You're able to do something that people with Down syndrome are not able to do. You're able to do something that people with cerebral palsy are not able to do. However, it is physically and mentally draining trying to pretend that everything is okay at all points in time because any emotion that I show, you're going to pretend that I'm a retard who's irrational. When you're abusive to me, you're going to tell me that I wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. It's my fault for speaking up against the abuse. You tell me, oh, well, Cora Bowers never would have done that, never would have tried to threaten you or harm you in any way, shape, or form if you hadn't spoken up about the situation with Natalie. That's right. You blame the victim for speaking up. You punish the victim for speaking up. And you do it based on gender, not based on evidence. You'd be surprised how many of these are, now it just says Facebook user instead of Cora L. Bowers. Who was it that was on drugs? Me or Natalie? Natalie. Who was being stalked? Me or Natalie? Me! Not just by Natalie, but also by her friends and her family. And the evidence shows that. It also shows that I went to my friends, for help stopping it. But they were all too busy doing drugs, just like Natalie, just like her sister, just like Natalie's dad, the child molesting sicko. But you got to have somebody to take your bored housewife syndrome out on, don't you? Damn right you do. Your bored housewife syndrome. How is it that you post up pictures of somebody with Down syndrome, obviously, right next to somebody with Down syndrome, and you make absolutely no effort whatsoever to understand a person who is treated like that? You don't try to understand that I'm treated horribly because of wives' tales. You pretend that because of what the dictionary says about low-functioning autistic people, that I must be one of those. But then, because I don't look like one of those, then I must not be one of those. And therefore, it all works out for you no matter what. You just play it one way on one day and another way on another day, depending on which one suits you best. What are the chances that Cora L. Bowers beats on that person? Well, I don't know. If it's somebody who lives in her house, I would be very afraid of it. I'd be afraid that the young woman who lives with her that has Down syndrome might be being beaten or worse. Cora L. Bowers has a lot of hatred built up, and she wanted to unleash it on me. Well, now she can have her time on TV. Woohoo! Why don't you stop taking advantage of disabled people? It's supposedly against the law, but you get to see it's really not against the law. Even the law does these things to disabled people. Now, sure, if you see them doing it to somebody who's got Down syndrome, you might say something. You might video record it and type about how wrong it is and send it into your local news station. But that wasn't going to happen after what happened to Natalie, is it? Oh, no. We can't be having that. We can't have the victims, especially if it's a male victim, destroying all of the progress that feminists have made. No, these are man-haters, not feminists. Feminists were after equality. This, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, from people who mooch off of men their entire lives, is horrible to hear. It's a horrible feeling. Oh, I did it all myself. I did it all myself. I did it all myself. You have any idea how many women I helped out of screwed out and screwed up situations that after the fact forgot I was even there? Forgot I was even there. That's how grateful and thankful they were. I don't think Jerry Sparks ever stopped to count how many times I'd helped her move. She typed to me about helping her move once. I let her know 7 times. Typed, what? With a question mark? I said, I helped you move 7 times. When I get help from people, I'm expected to pay them. A lot of people say, oh, well, money isn't important. I'm not worried about the money. Well, without the money, you never try. Or you tell me about all of your money problems. Well, I can help out with your money problems by you investing some time to earn my money. I'm willing to pay you for help. I'm willing to help do that. But through all this time, where did all that money go? Traveling to see people who are drunks, alcoholics, drug addicts. Does Cora Bauer, did she ever stop to look at that? If she ever stopped to think of what it's like for me being victimized by a bunch of drug addicts for over a year, and then to be treated by complete and total strangers all over the world, not just Canada, to be treated so horribly by them. Cora L. Bauer, you would think that she would try to understand what it's like for somebody who's disabled but doesn't have visual markers. And I do have visual markers. You can see me with my eyes oftentimes. You can see my wrists as well. But you don't care about that. No, it's okay for you to harm somebody who's autistic and overwhelmed. It's okay for you to be as mean and cruel as possible. It's okay for you to be a creepy stalker. It's okay for you to pass judgment. There's a lot of people wanted to play Christian and then call me a Satan worshipper, and somehow, magically, that makes it okay for them to pass judgment now. Oh, I called him a Satanist, so it's okay to pass judgment. Well, you calling me a Satanist was passing judgment and making an excuse to pass more judgment. Typing that you'd love to slit my throat. Or that you wish that you could. You see, if I point out that many of my predators wanted to skirt around it like that, and then you get to see how I so-called skirted around it. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. When I decided that it was time to threaten people back, I absolutely threatened them back. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will remove no doubt. Because there will be no doubt. Not some gross interpretation. I'll state outright. A lot of people wanted to threaten me in text messages and harass me. Also, as many of us with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or autism can attest. You don't have to call us a retard for us to know that you're treating us like we're retarded. When we're being bullied at school or elsewhere, and we're being bullied more than other people because we're not able to defend ourselves, and you want to play it off like it's no big thing, or like it's not happening, or like self-advocacy actually works. And who are our most likely predators? People in positions of power. You get to see the largest body count of any serial killers in the United States. They belong to female nurses. One profession and one gender of that profession account for more deaths than all other serial killers combined. That's how severe it is. Not just in the United States, just so you know, Great Britain also has the same record. And France would if they paid attention. Nurses in France, it's been guesstimated that they could kill literally thousands of patients per year. Serial killer nurses in France. Literally thousands of patients per year. This is also one of the few times where at least two of those serial killers are targeting people who are, what's the word I'm looking for? Evangelical. There we go. Yes, the French are very specifically targeting only one specific religious group, the evangelicals. They're even trying to pass laws similar to the laws that were supposed to keep Jews out of their country years ago. Now, Cora Bowers, this is one of my predators. This is one of these web sleuth nut jobs who decided that it was okay to come after somebody as if they were a horrible monster. All they did was put cogs in the works, prevent any progress, prevent the right thing from being done. I had to dig through a bunch of Cora L. Bowers peoples in order to find people who were claiming that they were going to help me, where most of them did not. Many of them just wanted to tell me about how tough their lives are. They promised to help, but then when they were on the phone, what did they do? They used me as a therapist, but they didn't pay me the money they'd pay a therapist. Or they wanted to pawn me off on somebody else, or they wanted to talk to a friend, and don't do it on my behalf. A lot of people wanted to make suggestions. Then they told me they'd go talk to a friend, and after talking to a friend, they wanted to tell me not to do what they suggested. Well, that tells me their friend's a lawyer. And that these people just realized how bad their advice was. You want to tell me just to ignore it? There are Cora Bowers type folks everywhere I go. Karens. People with so much hatred and discontent. Because their life isn't easy and they want somebody to take it out on. The government isn't helping them. So why should they help you? Meanwhile, you have no idea how abusive the system is to people who are autistic. We're not allowed to flap our hands. We're not allowed to blink our eyes if we got Tourette syndrome. We're not allowed to do this with our wrists. Everything is punished and nothing is okay. You are talked down to like you're a dog, and you learn to shut up and take it. And no, that is not okay. I'm not just going to shut up and take it. Now, with her friend Lisa getting a hold of me to harass me, all these wannabe Christian folks, or people who wanted to get a hold of me, they never got a hold of me a day in their life, didn't know who they were, wanted to type at me that they had advocated for me. Really? How can you advocate for me if you never get a hold of me to find out what's going on? If you never bother to look at evidence, how can you advocate for me? In order for you to advocate for me, you're going to have to speak for me, which means you're going to have to know what to say, which means you're going to have to know what's going on. When did you ever advocate for me? If it's not a Cora Bowers type, it's the other type. The type that wanted to get a hold of me to harass me, pretend like they were going to help, or just to chastise me because they claimed that they did something that they absolutely did not. Cora L. Bowers, I don't care how many chins she's got. It don't make it okay to be a bully to people that you don't know for no reason. And it is for no reason. You had no right and no place to pass judgment on me, nor to get a hold of me and harass me with others. That is never okay.